how did you take the initial idea of Paper People Play with your sister and get to the harder work of getting it off the ground? And what kind of experimentation did you do to get it right?
Well, we wanted to create a toy that that we can meet children where they are, which is in the media, which is online on YouTube, and take them off of YouTube and have family time. So we created these paper dolls, and we wanted to make it look like a normal public school. So we had children. We wanted to create characters that can integrate multiple cultures. So we have a little boy who uses a wheelchair, and we have a little person of color, and then we have a Latina, and then we wanted to have a brother-sister relationship. So we created two little Southern, well, he tries to be Southern, but my sister and I were both from North Carolina. So we were like, we can bring sibling rivalry into this one. So, and we have a cat because everybody wants a pet, right? So that's how we did that. And then she's an artist. I'm an actor. I used to be a teacher, and we just collaborated on our skill sets to create something that we could bring, our skill sets together and create something that the kids can like. And from a minimalist, parents are more into like minimizing. So these you can just put into an envelope and slide them into a drawer.
Very good. So you've been in a number of film festivals with the concept. What was the strategy behind those entries, and how did it work out in the context of the overall project?
Well, we did that so that we can reach to a broader audience. We actually got into some film festivals actually in London, and for a while there, we were getting more hits from the UK than we did in the US. And we won some awards, and just to get some accolades and some feedback. And I think it shows parents, that, we're serious about creating filmmaking, and it's not just like a little project. It's something that we are invested in. So
paper dolls have been around for over a century, probably longer in concept. Where do you think you've evolved them to adapt to the current generation of children?
Well, paper dolls, since they've been around for generations, it brings generations together. So my grandma used them, my mom used them, I used them as a kid, kids today can use them. So it's a toy that all generations can use. So, but our main focus was family time. So we wanted a tool that children can, they can meet online and then come up and create their own stories together. Because, children can read books, but if they can create their own stories with actual paper dolls, it just makes them use their imagination. And also, using paper dolls allows, or any toy really, when you allow children to role play, they open up to the parents. And especially with this quarantine and the COVID, children can open up to their parents and show them how they're actually feeling. And that's one of the advantages we have and we have stories, we model after Aesop fables. So we want children to learn positive outcomes too, or experiment with positive outcomes to something that could, end up bad or good.
So the creativity of this concept is very expansive. What have you learned about your own creative expansiveness in creating this project with your sister?
She's an artist, and I'm an actor, and I used to be a teacher, and I got a master's in instructional technology. So we just collaborated our skill sets, and we made a product that we can have fun with, not only be work, but actually something fun that we can create and share with.
What did you learn from her, and what did she learn from you, do you think?
Well, I learned that I'm a terrible artist. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. That's always been true. But it's funny because when we were kids, we used to enter coloring contests, and you had the pageant moms that the mom was like always into. Our mom was not like that. Our mom would enter we would enter coloring contests like crazy, and we'd win. And it would be like at Eckerd's and the drugstores. And my sister, she would always win. The whole neighborhood would get together and color. But my sister, she was always the best. But yeah, and she learned about filmmaking and editing, and you have to bring a story alive through just your voice, and through editing, how things can change, how you can change the perspective of the whole story just by these little things.
So your timing with Paper People Play at the point of the quarantine months had to give you a bit of a pause. How do you think this has been helpful for kids and parents during the quarantine and afterward?
Actually, during the quarantine, we were really, really busy. It was the busiest time because at the beginning, our initial audience was the homeschool market, just because they are at home with families. And so we did get some hits with that, but during quarantine, everybody was looking for activities to do, especially art activities. So we actually were able to really build our fan base during the quarantine, which is really good because it gave us an opportunity to get our stories out there and our characters out there. But like I said before, with role playing, it allows them to like use our paper dolls to, talk things out.
As an actor, how did role playing help you develop the characters for Paper People Play? And how do you think it evolved you as a performer as a result?
Well, it's interesting because when you're playing 5 characters and you're just using your voice, that really, I got to explore a lot with that. Even though when kids play, they use their own voices. I was actually thinking about like hiring other actors, but then I thought when kids play, they don't hire other friends to like they actually play all the characters.
Yeah.
So so as an actor, it did stretch that muscle and allow me to flex it and really get to explore personalities with just my voice.
Which character surprised you in the voice you came up with?
I think I had the most fun with like Cowboy Mark because he's Southern.
And what's the voice?
Well, he's more like this. He's going to talk. But see, I make him sound like he's a little bit more like putting it on. And then she's got the sister. She's my favorite. She's actually my doppelganger. I used to get her to look like me as a kid so that I can I wanted one that I could really relate to and do.
That's great.
She's probably the one that I feel closest. But I don't know. They're all fun.
As having teacher experience, what is important to you in regards to childhood education and development in the face of another year of at-home education? How do you think it's best negotiated?
Well, I feel like it's really important for kids to interact with other kids and I think that might be harder with the Zoom. I mean, I think it's a new way of, communicating was through Zoom meetings, but I still, at the heart of it, I still feel like child-to-child interaction is important. And actually, I feel like the quarantine has brought families together more. We really just wanted it to be about family. Mm-hmm.
There's been 2 tremendous movements to bring light in show business to both women and people of color. What have you observed that has improved as far as women are treated in the performance business, and where do you believe it still needs to go?
Well, I feel like women of color, or people of color, and women are getting more opportunities. I'm seeing it a lot more, especially with people of color, which is fantastic. You do want to see the different cultures. And what I think is important, though, that I think we're going in the right direction with women and people of color, but I want to see equal pay. I think that we still have work to do in that area, and also protecting kids. I feel like it's not only like people of color and women, but children as well. We need to protect them too. But I think mainly I feel like equal pay is something I think we could work.
Final question. You've been through a number of cultures and educations. What references in that journey do you use the most in performing or creativity? What do you keep going back to fill that well?
I think when you go back, I think you need to stay true to yourself at the end of the day. I've lived in Chicago, lived in New Mexico, I grew up in North Carolina, all different areas, different parts of the United States. And from that, I've met different people, different cultures, and you try to just stay positive. And especially like what's going on right now, like I have my own personal beliefs and personal struggles and personal pains. And I think at the end of the day, when you're talking to somebody, everybody has their own experiences, and you really need to, I think I saw something the other day that says it's more important to be, to understand than to be understood. And I think if you keep that attitude, I think, you can, I prefer to have a positive experience with people. And that's why we have Aesop fables. If you watch any of our stories, they have like a positive outcome. It's not just all negative. So yeah, just stay positive.
So let's give all the plugs for your websites and where they can watch your film and everything.
So paperpeopleplay.com. And then, you can download our paper dolls for free right now. But we also have art lessons on there. And we sell watercolor brush pens. We're actually offering them free right now. You just pay shipping for back to school. And that's what I want to bring. Like, we want to bring positivity.
This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2020.